Today is May 25th. It's a significant day. All the information from today, losing the best people. But God did allow their preparation for me for the Kennedys yesterday. Let's see.
Power on. Bluetooth pairing. Bluetooth connected.
I don't know if this is gonna work. I don't know how this is gonna work. I'm pretty sure Hillary Clinton just said she's related to Ted Kennedy. Hillary Clinton said she's related to Ted Kennedy. It started out, as I said previously, that Hillary Clinton revealed in the astroplane that she was related to Ted Kennedy. So I looked up Rodham, looking for a Fitzgerald or a Kennedy connection, looking for an Irish connection. And then I looked up, it was Hugh Rodham, which I think was Hillary's dad. Wait. I think it was Hillary's dad. There are two Hughes, the dad and the grandfather. Instead of en.m Wikipedia, I saw em Wikipedia. The only em I know is em Forster, Forster. Finding Forster was a movie with Sean Connery, and I forget the kid. I'd rather it be too loud than too soft, because my mic isn't that great. So then I looked up Hillary's mother, and I thought she looked like, I don't know. I thought she looked like the Queen of England, Queen Elizabeth. So, Dorothy Howe was her maiden name, born in Chicago. Daughter of Edwin John Howell and Della Murray. So that's an Irish connection, because I looked up Murray. Her ancestor consisted of Welsh, English, Scottish, French, and distant Dutch heritage. Her paternal grandfather was an immigrant from Bedminster, Bristol, in England, and many of her recent forebears had lived in Canada. She had a really rough childhood, Dorothy Howell. And I read Hillary's book. I think it was in Making History, but I'm not sure. It could have been another book. Um, where Hillary, had a really good childhood. She got to have the fantasy years, like between 7 and 11, where you can be anything you want. You're allowed to run around in the neighborhood, stuff like that. But, so I read about Dorothy Hall, and I asked Hillary, so she turned it around, huh? Because Dorothy Hall was treated horribly by her mother and her grandmother. And, Hillary said no. She didn't turn it around, and that's why Hillary's a Satanist. So my note here is Hillary's grandmother was a Murray. And then the Murray history in Ireland. The surname Murray reflects the historic ties between Ireland and Scotland and signifies the bearer's roots in the early kingdom of Moray, M-O-R-A-Y, the deposed Irish king of Leinster and Dublin, who will be forever blamed for inviting the English into Ireland in his effort to recover his throne. Cliff Murray raped me. He was a student at the University of Miami, and we were in the same first semester, first year calculus class taught by a grad student, last name Gallagher. I learned everything I wanted to know about calculus from that grad student. And Cliff was in the back of the class, and I used to cross paths with him sometimes because I was in the front or the middle, probably the middle. But I didn't notice him really. I don't remember his name. And then one night I went to sleep and I woke up completely obsessed with Cliff Murray. And I thought of him 24 hours a day. That had never happened to me before. And I would go by he shared an apartment with another student, I guess. And I would go by his apartment and I would have excuses like things that Donna would let me look at in vacant apartments, things people left behind. I brought over some curtains, would you like these, and all that kind of stuff. I was completely obsessed. I think it's fair to say I seduced him one day, and he just said, look, we're never going to do that again because I don't want you to get pregnant. And he really wasn't interested in me. I was obsessed with him, so one way or the other he told me, go away. So I did. But anyway, I guess he must have had Paul light up the wazoo. Because I had never initiated with people, especially men. He must have tortured the fuck pissed out of Paul. When I envision him now at the back of the class, the day I was completely, totally in love with him, after the previous day when I didn't even know his name, it's white light. So, I guess that's about it. His name is Cliff Murray, and I don't know his major. Biology, maybe. I've looked him up, but it's a common name. He played lacrosse at the University of Miami, so I've looked up Cliff Murray lacrosse to see if maybe he was a coach somewhere or something. I mean, this is all before I met Paul. I realized that was a fucktard because I wrote about it in Study of Evil. It's a long story. Okay. And then I wrote my notes. There's the Irish connection to Ted. Hillary Rodham Clinton's maternal grandmother was a Murray. She was a Hal. Let's see if I get this right.
Instead of en.m Wikipedia, I saw em Wikipedia. The only em I know is em Forster, Forster. Finding Forster was a movie with Sean Connery, and I forget the two.
It's possible Forster or Sean Connery wrote the Wikipedia entry on, I guess it was Hillary Rodham, on the last name Rodham. Okay. Yeah, her mother was. Oh, her maiden name was Howell. Hillary's mother's maiden name was Howell, and Dorothy Howell's mother's maiden name was Murray. So that's an Irish connection on the maternal side. And my note says Hillary's grandmother was a Murray. And then there's the Irish connection to Ted. So then I looked up the Kennedy family. Where's all my Fitzgerald stuff? Okay. Kennedy, Joe Kennedy's family is Irish. And then there's Rose Fitzgerald Kennedy. Her maiden name was Fitzgerald. And they have quite a history. Her father, they called him Honey Fitz. He was kind of a drunk, kind of a party animal, and mayor. Well, it had to be Boston, didn't it? I don't know. I don't know if he was mayor of Boston or where they had a home, or just not in Boston. I don't know. Fitzgerald, place of origin, Ireland and Britain. Cadet branches, House of Kildare, House of Desmond, House of Leinster. Some derivatives, let's see. Some derivatives. No, this isn't the one.
Jerry Barbacudo could be related to Rose Fitzgerald Kennedy because Gerald in Fitzgerald is Jerry, Geri, Jer. I don't know how else to spell it. Anyways, Jerry Barbacudo could be related to Rose Fitzgerald Kennedy, the Fitzgerald side.
And then they showed the family crest, Fitzgerald family crest. Look at it. Let me see. Let me enlarge it. It's horrible. Look at that. It's all red with a big X. The flag is a big red X. I think that's significant. The Gaelic form of the surname Fitzgerald is, quote, Mac Gerald, Gerald, unquote, Gerailt, Gerald. Some of them, the names, it's sort of familiar, but I can't get them. Okay.
What's a fucked up family crest? It's ugly too. It's ugly too. What's a fucked up family crest? It's ugly too. It's ugly too. The Fitzgeralds could be related to Robert Mayhew, who was the chief assistant to Howard Hughes when he died, at the time, in the years before his death. And then I think he left and they replaced him, or somebody replaced him with a bunch of Mormon bodyguards. But Robert Mayhew was Hughes' right-hand man. And Mayo is whatever. It's in the Fitzgerald page I'll send. Okay, so Robert Mayhew, M-A-H-E-U, could be related to the Fitzgeralds.
The Fitzgerald spelling variations, including Fitzgerald, Geraldines, Desmond, Gerald. Oh, Gerald could be Gerald Ford. I forgot about that.
The Geraldines could be Geraldine Page. I think she's the Geraldine in Fried Green Tomatoes, the movie with Kathy Bates. But I'm not positive. Desmond could be Desmond Tutu. African something or other. Gerald, I'm not sure. Gerald some others. Gerald. Desmond Tutu Fitzgerald. Yeah, they could all be related to the Fitzgeralds. And it makes sense the Fitzgeralds would opt Hughes if they were part of the recipients to receive the Hughes estate money.
The Hughes estate money was stolen by Reagan administration. I mean, Reagan wasn't in court. There are two Bakers in the Reagan years, Howard Baker and the Tall Baker. I know he was important in court. It was in Texas. And they had a corrupt judge, and instead of Hughes' heirs, which were second cousins and people who I think he'd never met, they confiscated the Hughes estate with the help of the courts. So the Hughes the Fitzgerald Kennedys could have been part of the group that divvied up that money. And then I looked up County Kildare because it was familiar to me. County Kildare is a county in Ireland. It is located in the province of Leinster and is part of the Mid-East region. It is named after the town of Kildare. Kildare County Council is the local authority for the county, which has a population of 222,504. And let's see. This is the coat of arms for the County Kildare. Mm-hmm. The nickname of the County Kildare is the Short Grass County. Short grass might be better for horses. The motto is Spirit and Courage. And this is a map of Ireland, and the dark green spot is County Kildare. It might be significant that the coordinates are 53 degrees, 10 inches, 10 feet, 10 feet, or 10 something, whatever the second part of a coordinate is, and 6 degrees, 45 something west. The country is Ireland, and the province is Leinster. And then they go through notable people from Kildare County.
Robert Cullen was a TV personality in the 60s and maybe the 70s or maybe the end of the 50s. No. Anyway, he could be related to Paul Cullen, Bishop Paul Cullen on that list.
No, that's right.
Melissa Hayes, Friendship Corner NAMI, could be related to Gabriel Hayes, sculptor and coin designer. Lawler could be Lawford, Peter Lawford. He was a pretty handsome, sought-after man, and he married one of the Kennedy daughters, and none of them are beauties. Kathleen Lonsdale could Edward Lansdale. He's of JFK assassination era. Edward Lansdale. He was a spook, I guess. And John de Roebuck would be Sears and Roebuck. Oh, it's Roebuck. But it would be Sears and Roebuck.
These are notable people from Kildare County.
Dempsey, the boxer, could be related to Patrick Dempsey, the actor in Grey's Anatomy who died off. They killed him off. Willoughby Hamilton could be related to Alexander Hamilton. Jerry O'Brien, Brian O'Brien, AA Friday night, Tuesday night, could be related to Jerry O'Brien. And Ruby Walsh could be related to John Walsh, the guy who killed his son in the Sears, or I think Sears. I thought it was a Sears. And then went on to become judgmental, harsh, guilt-inducing television host for children who are abducted and stuff. Devin Murray would be Cliff Murray. Darren, I can't read it now. Mahoney would be the senator who mentored Hillary Clinton in the New York Senate. I can't think of his name. Oh, Higgins could be Mary Higgins Clark. Molly King could be Kathleen Keener. She was a 40-year-old virgin, so that's pretty significant because you're the 40-year-old virgin. Kathleen Keener was a 40-year-old virgin, which is significant because you're the 40-year-old virgin, in case nobody told you. And Mary Ledbetter, isn't this odd? I might. Could be related to Leadbelly, the old black singer, now dead, I guess, who Kurt Cobain mentioned as his favorite.
I don't know what happened. That was a 2-minute.
Kathleen Keener was a 40-year-old virgin, which is significant because you're the 40-year-old virgin, in case nobody told you. And Mary Ledbetter, isn't this odd? I might. Could be related to Leadbelly, the old black singer, now dead, I guess, who Kurt Cobain mentioned as his favorite musician or something. Kurt Cobain in Unplugged, the later Unplugged, where they were plugged, and he wore a beige sweater. He referred to Leadbelly. I'd never heard of him before. So Ledbetter. Oh, it could be Ledbetter. Anyway, Leadbelly, and it's, I forget how it's spelled. I looked up LED belly, and I got the name on YouTube or something from that. Mescal. Paul Mescal could be mescaline. Bloom. Bloom is probably important. What do you call them? Oh, Bloom could be Bloomingdale. I don't think I've ever been in a Bloomingdale. Doyle, what was the name of the mayor of Chicago at the time of the election in 1960? Was it Doyle, who was said to have thrown Chicago to John F. Kennedy and thus made it an illegitimate election? Wasn't it Doyle? I'll look that one up. And Graham Hopkins, of course, could be related to Anthony Hopkins.
These are still notable people from County Kildare or their ancestry from County Kildare. I'm not sure if they're directly were born in County Kildare, but they're sports figures and entertainers and other notable people. I didn't name the categories, just the names.
Jack Lukeman is George Lucas. Donald Lunny is Lunda. Bob Lunda. No. Yeah, I guess he's a Lunda. The asshole from North Carolina who invited us for Thanksgiving when we lived in Memphis. He's a real pig fuck. Bell, Miracle Bell, could be the Bell family. Amy Bell, next door to our house on Osborne Road. Christy Moore could be Liz Moore, Diane Zerk's best friend, who lived on Ludlam. Right? Ludlam. Oh. Liam O'Flynn. Liam Flynn could be Larry Flynn, found. Liam Flynn could be Larry Flynn. Flint. Larry Flynn or Flint. I think it's Flint. Publisher of Hustler magazine. Founder and publisher of Hustler magazine. I think it says Damian Rice. Would be Mr. Rice my English teacher at Killian who gave me a D on a test. I think it says Rice. And Talbot would be Strode Talbot. Heidi Talbot would be Strode Talbot, related to Strode Talbot. Liam Flynn could be Larry Flynn, found.
Now, this is really interesting. There's a section on Wikipedia called Twinning, Twinning, twinning as in Mengele and twin souls. County Kildare is twinned with the following places: Deauville, France, and Lexington, Kentucky. Kentucky is where Richard Henning Jr. moved over Labor Day weekend. Rich and I and Richard Henning Jr. took a U-Haul, two cars and a U-Haul trailer to... He worked in the town of Benton, Benton, and then he lived in a different little township thing. And, let's see. The closest big city to where he was Paducah, Kentucky. I'm not sure where Lexington is in relation to Paducah or wherever Richard Henry Jr. lived, his residence. Both are major centers of the thoroughbred breeding industry in their respective countries. And we had a whole thing on thoroughbred breeding. A lot of them are into that. And I asked why horses. I'm supposed to be strongly connected to horses. But I'm not exactly. I'm afraid of them. Okay.
No wonder County Kildare is so important. It's twinned with Deauville, France, and Lexington, Kentucky, both thoroughbred breeding industries. So, Hugh Cannon could be the first one, and Diane Cannon, the actress, who was married to Cary Grant. Who's the other Cannon? Dolores Cannon. Dolores Cannon, author of the Nostradamus book, etc. John de Wellesley, could be Wellesley College. Crease. Fitz-Eustace could be Eustace Mullins. Crease. John Crease. Crease. There are several that are familiar, but I can't get them. There are a lot of Eustaces. E-U-S-T-A-C-E. Eustace Mullins could have come from a prominent family. I think we're still in Ireland. We're still in the Fitzgerald section of research. Lawrence Sutton of Barbistown. Sutton could be Hutton. That could be, well, there's a model with the last name of Sutton or Hutton. Maybe from the 70s? Oh, and then Lawrence Sutton of Tipper. That could be Tipper Gore's family.
I think I know Hutton is Lauren Hutton, a model. And I think she's the one with the space between her two front teeth.
John Eustace of Harrison could be the Harrelsons. Woody Harrelson, actor, and I forget his father's name, but he's in prison for killing a federal judge. Wogan could be Rogan. Nicholas Wogan could be Rogan. I'm trying to think of who's Rogan. Something Rogan?
Seth Rogen.
And Liz Moore's family could be related to Eustace Mullins.
George Harrison says he's distantly related to that Harrison. Who is Harrelson?
Oh, that was your stepfather's family. Sarsfield, Patrick Sarsfield, could be Sarsgaard. He was in the recent horror show about vampires. Wow, it looks like Francis Cosby. C-O-S-B-Y. So it could be, that family could be related to Bill Cosby. It's Laura. I think John Eustace of Castle Martin is, the Miller family. Tom and Mary Miller. Tom Miller. Tom Miller line. My dentist as a child in Bay. Having an affair with Donna. And Harry was really butt-kissy to him when he visited Miami. And when they were older. There's two more Sarsfields. Sir Henry Duke. Sir Henry Duke could be, what they call him, the Duke, you know? The Western actor who died in the late 70s. The Duke, they call him the Duke. Shit, I'll look him up too. It's John Wayne. Sir Henry Duke. John Wayne would be related to Sir Henry Duke from the 1500s.
Okay. I may have covered over a recording. And then it moves on to Kurt Cobain. Just because I wanted to see if Cobain was an Irish name. Little was known about Cobain's heritage until July 1993, when Guitar World's John Savage interviewed the musician on his world tour. When the question of identity arose, the musician said that he had recently found out that his surname was Irish. And I missed something before. Oh shit, now I lost it again. And then there's an article in the Irish Times. I looked up Cobain Kildare, or Cobain County Kildare, to see if there was a connection between the Cobain family name and the County Kildare, because so many people who are significant in this paradigm either were born in County Kildare or that's where their heritage is. And I found the Irish Times article headline, Kurt Cobain's private possessions to go on display in Kildare. Kildare Museum, County Kildare, and then just unrelated to the County Kildare stuff, Kurt Cobain's powder blue 1965 Dodge Dart. Looks a lot like my 1960 Ford Falcon, which is the first car I had. William Doyle, owner of the museum at Newbridge Silverware, met the Cobain family at an event in LA last summer, and they hit it off. The Cobains, who were very conscious of their Irish roots, decided to curate an exhibition of the singer's possessions for display at the museum, which said the family chose Newbridge because of the Irish connection and because they trust it will not exploit Kurt Cobain's name but treat the collection with respect. Kurt Cobain believed his family came from County Cork, but in fact his Irish ancestors emigrated from Carrickmore, County Tyrone, in 1875. The American singer, songwriter, and musician from Aberdeen, Washington, formed the band Nirvana in 1987 with Chris Novoselic and Aaron Burkhardt. Burkhardt could be Burkhalter. Bill Burkhalter was the head of the Roadrunners Club, the president of the Roadrunners Club, which was a club for people who commuted from the local area to go to the University of Miami, and I was one of them. His family, he's an ortho now, an orthopedic surgeon. His father was an ortho. They were part of the Seattle grunge scene, and Nirvana were seen as the flagship band of Generation. I think it says X, but it cut off. The Museum of Style Icons opened on June 1st, 2007, and has built up a collection of artifacts, letters, clothing, and photos from the worlds of fashion, cinema, and pop culture. It houses items from Audrey Hepburn, Grace Kelly, Marilyn Monroe, Princess Diana, Michael Jackson, Elvis Presley, Elizabeth Taylor, the Beatles, Bob Dylan, and Kim Kardashian. And so what I wrote to Paul was all present and accounted for, because all those people are in the astroplane here. So that was what I learned today. I want to look up Chicago Mayor 1960. I think it's Doyle. Oh, Daley. Damn. Daley looks like J. Edgar Hoover. It's Daley, not Doyle. But I think that's who the relation was. The Doyle. Okay. J. Edgar Hoover was like the most sadistic man, not the most, but a very sadistic man. I don't know who's first or second, Roy Cohn or J. Edgar Hoover. Well, I didn't believe the story about throwing the election to Kennedy. But now that the Kennedys are lost, it's likely true, which means Nixon would have been the legitimate president. Wow. They could be brothers. I've probably lost Jim Garrison too. This is Daley. He looks so much like J. Edgar. Oh, this is Richard J. Daley. He was the mayor of Chicago in '60. Then there's a Richard M. Daley, a William M. Daley, an Eleanor Daley, a John P. Daley, Harold Washington Daley, Jane Byrne. So the Daleys could be related to the Byrnes, as in Gabriel Byrne. Jane Byrne, Michael Anthony, Mike Royko. I'm not saying related, But daily, in the people also search for it, usually means there's some kind of connection or similarity. Hi. Okay. Richard J. Daley, mayor at the time of the Kennedy election, he has been called, quote, the last of the big city bosses, unquote, who controlled and mobilized American cities. Thompson. Richard J. Daley could be related to Fred Thompson, because he's here, and relatives of Richard J. Daley are Patrick R. Daley, Patrick Daley Thompson, one of Richard Daley's grandsons. Maybe, well, yeah, we've probably lost Martin Luther King, too. Martin Luther King Jr. The Sears Tower is now the Willis Tower. That could be, what's his name? Willis. The actor, Bruce Willis. And I was gonna look up somebody else. But, that'll be all for now, I guess. This is 54 minutes long, and I'll title it County Kildare.